I got a viewer request to do a reading on Saoirse Ronan. Every time I start talking, my dog gets really excited and wants to jump up. What? Right. Okay. This doctor does go. Okay. Alright. I'll show you the dog so you know I'm not just like making noises. Okay. Hey. Hello. Alright. So, okay, so I'm gonna tap into whatever needs to be shared here. There's a lot of spiritual protection around her. So she may have some sort of lifestyle of protecting herself spiritually, or if like she's from the UK, so maybe there's some kind of working with the fairies or something like that. It just feels like, okay, I'll just try to be more specific here. Yeah, she makes some effort to bring in good energy for herself, and but I also feel like the potential to, how that book and movie, what's it called, The Secret, right? You could see some people operate in a way that they feel like they have to control everything in life. And you could, they could kind of take that back to Bible stories and stuff, and well, who is it that likes to control stuff, and then there's people that let God take the wheel and stuff. So, and with Harry Potter and all that, there's so much propaganda to go the route of, I'm gonna control this, I'm gonna, in terms of spells or this or that thing. So I feel in her environment, she personally is taking the route of sending her life, good energy her way to bring in good opportunities and stuff. And I feel it's not just purely by coincidence. I feel there's some activity that she does to bring this about, bring this good energy about, whatever. And then in her environment, there's people who in a kind of new agey way, have the sort of controlling type of behaviors going on that, anyway, I could go on and on about this subject, but anyway, I'm just sort of picking up this kind of profile where she knows about energy work and makes use of that in some regard, and it, generally speaking, she has a positive vibe that's fairly bright. So it's nice. But then there is this sort of, I don't know if it's people close to her, people who want a piece of her pie, financially, or to ride on her coattails, or I just feel there's some negative energy around her in terms of control and manipulation kind of stuff that's just right at her doorstep kind of thing. There's not a lot of space for her to make this beautiful energy because the hounds are at the door, as it were. So okay, and I think she does have a fair amount of trust in the universe to bring about good things in a beautiful childlike way, which is nice. And I feel there's a man in her life who she may not realize is not super positive, kind opportunistic, insincere in love. And like, you know how like some people are like, hey, you know, I'd love to see you, let's go out for pizza, and it's like, oh, I forgot my wallet. Ugh. You know, like it's like that kind of person where it's like, let's go to New York and you pay, you know, like that kind of vibe. So I wouldn't want her to continue dating this person or like putting her energy into that. Because it's sort of a bottomless pit, because they're not going to reciprocate. In terms of career opportunities for her, I feel like she's getting some like curveball stuff that isn't like to her benefit in the long run. I see like what would be positive for her would be to like, I don't know if she's already doing this or whatever, but I'm picking up a sort of, you know, at whatever point in time there could exist a theater that she starts. Like, I don't know if it's like a theater school / performance space. Like, you know how like, what's that guy's name? The Swedish guy, Bergman. Yeah, Bergman like had kind of something like that where he had like this troupe of actors who were like incessantly in his movies, and it drives me nuts that it's always the same people. But like, you know, God bless him for having his own theater troupe and like making cool films and stuff. But like, I have sort of a beef with like wives of directors being in every single project, like Messina, like in Fellini's movies, and like the girl from oh sorry, my dog wants to jump down, go jump. And like my Summer with Monica, like that girl who's like a teenager at first, and then like cut to like Fanny and Alexander, she's a grandma, and she's been like whatever, like won't leave his projects and stuff, and it's just like, and that when has your face been seen enough? Like whatever, that's my beef. Like I'm more of the Robert Bresson school of like, get people who are non-actors or just use an actor one time, so that like when people see that actor again, they're not thinking of like all their past roles and stuff. Okay, so back to the theater that she could, I feel like it would be really positive for her to create this theater, even though people might make fun of her, because like in the UK people are hilarious and cutting humor and stuff, and like, so there'd be a lot of that, like, oh, you think you're gonna start a theater, whatever. Like, I feel that vibe, but it's like, just do it anyway, and just be like, people are gonna talk. I say this to my kids, like, people are gonna criticize you whether you're like working at McDonald's or you own like a giant corporation. Like, they're just gonna, people are gonna, you know, you might as well do what you love, because people are going to talk anyway. So, like, she should just make this theater anyway. And people just have to deal with it. And then that would create some projects that she, like, either co-writes or writes, or, like, it's just, like, this birthplace of better ideas than are coming through the funnel from LA, which, like, you know, you don't need me to tell you, like, a lot of that stuff is subpar. So, like, it would be to her benefits, and like not be like taking like some just good quote unquote role that is like not that cool, you know, from away, and then like really focus on like her talents and like what she really wants to communicate in this life, like, and to get her, I feel like she has like some really powerful talents that are not all on display. And what comes to mind is like Kate Bush, like Wuthering Heights, like her music video. is so just like so her. She's like, you know what? I like wearing flowy dresses and dancing in nature and singing about a book that I like. You know what I mean? Like, in my own way. And on top of that, she had her own record label because like she didn't want to be forced to go on tour like according to the mean record labels that exist. And she just hired her family to do the chores of like distribution and whatever. So hats off to Kate Bush for like doing it her own way and being herself. Anyway, so I feel like there's something like that where Saoirse Ronan like can just go, you know what, I'm good at this, or I love this, and I'm gonna celebrate this, and like in the UK too, like there's a lot of cool movies like like the first Wicker Man. I hate it when people do remakes, but like anyway, the first one. There's like this really like some cool scenes of like my brain is like not working, but like pagan, thank you, like pagan like dancing like in nature and stuff like that. Like I just sort of feel like that kind of vibe where there's this like free unlimited kind of expression, something like that she would show us that like would be very cool, that is not gonna be like shown to us if she's just in these movies about like relationships or whatever. Like like what Hollywood calls love, which is like toxic codependence and stuff like that. So whatever. So it'd be good. So instead of feeling like left out, like, oh, I'm not getting the roles I want, it's like, dude, you can make your own theater, make some cool stuff, like, tip of the hat to Bergman and like Kate Bush and stuff, to people who've done this successfully before. Oh, why not you, kind of thing. Okay. And then one of the questions that the viewer asked, like they were curious about her interaction with Timothée Chalamet. I guess like I don't watch everything she's done. I've seen one or two things, but like I understand that they're teamed up, more than once in a film. I guess like Timothée Chalamet has this like is he mad right now? Like I get this kind of like, I mean, he seems like a sweet guy, but like I get this kind of like angry vibe like right now. Maybe there's something that's bothering him at the moment. He has a more like structured view of his career, whereas Saoirse Ronan has like a very like more spiritual type of way. And Timothée like is trying to build his career in a very like logical manner, maximizing like time and effort. Like he almost has like a scientific, mathematical type of mind. And he has very strong boundaries with like women. I feel like relationship-y stuff. It's like, you stay here and I'm doing this, and like they feel like separate lanes. Like it's like, know your lane. And like people that know him personally or intimately might know this side of him that can be very like direct and like stay in your lane kind of stuff. I feel like he's, well, I guess I'm like switching topics of the reading, but I'll just like try to go back to their interaction in a second. But I feel like he's a bit angry that like the projects that come through end up defining him as a person. And like, you could use the example of like the one he was in with Armie Hammer, and like because Armie Hammer was doing, you know, had antisocial, like, violent behaviors and stuff, like, and then they were, like, intimate in that movie. Like, it reflects on him, and I think, like, situations like that where he resents, maybe because he's such a young guy, like, resents being defined by, like, these projects, these other people, stuff like that. So maybe as a reaction, he has stronger boundaries, and he might be, like, mad about that stuff. So I just feel like, you know, his vibe with Saoirse Ronan feels like he knows she's a nice person, you know, happy to, like, hey, how's it going, like, nice to see you, kind of thing. But he really feels like he has to tackle this, like, difficult landscape of other people imposing on him while he wants to continue building his career. So it's sort of like if you, like, lived, let's say you had, like, I don't want to trigger anybody, but, like, it's sort of like living with someone who's violent or something. It's like, you know, you want your career, but the career is trying to hurt you in a way. Like, it's that kind of thing. Like, I don't want to go too deep into that metaphor, but, like, it's kind of like he knows the animal is the acting career at a high level. But, you know, like I was saying with Saoirse, it's like you could also DIY things, but that doesn't interest Timothée whatsoever. He likes being able to just, like, waltz in and there's, like, craft services and, like, you know, he does his thing and then he gets paid and goodbye and, like, what's next kind of thing. Whereas Saoirse's just, like, could look at, like, a flower for, like, half an hour or something like that. And I feel like there's this speaking of Swedish, I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know if it's, like, Scottish or Swedish. It's like my GPS is, like, showing me kind of, like, that neck of the woods, like, some guy who's kind of pushy. I don't know if there's, like, a famous actor who's, like, Swedish, or I don't know who she's dating or whatever, but, like, I also don't like him as a partner for her. I feel like she'd be happier with someone from, like, either London or France or something like that. And maybe she hasn't met that person yet. Someone who has just, like, a lot of traditional values that are just on lock. You know how, like, I don't know, like, I met a few people from France, and it's like they're very family oriented, and they, you know, they have super long summer vacations. So, like, in August, it's like you're with your grandma and, like, your whole family in the country, and that's that, you know, like, it's just like there's no other option kind of thing. So it's that kind of thing where she would enjoy the structure of family. I don't know what her growing up years were like. I guess because she started acting so early, like, maybe there was some disruption in that, so she would really benefit from having, like, a solid home life that was just like, well, this is how we do it, like, what do you know, there's nothing random about it, right? So, like, she would enjoy, like, not having that random, like, what's happening, like, what are we, you know, it's like no, we're married, and we're, you know, in August we're going to our grandmother's house, and that's, you know, it's, like, done. So so she would love having, like, a loving structure in her life. And I would, like, steer clear of dating another actor, because, like, actors can be fake, you know what I mean? Like, they're good at it. Like, does that make them psychopaths? Like, maybe sometimes. I don't know. Like it's like, yeah, you met them at work, but, like, is that just, like, Stockholm syndrome? It's like, oh, I have to see you and like pretend we're in love for 2 months and then bye. Like, in order, I think there's a human instinct to like survive situations, so you like make nice with your captor, you know? And then like sometimes people fall in love, they think they're in love in that way, but like if you think like, well, what is love? Like, what's unconditional love? It's not just like, oh, you're sexy or whatever, or like you're, you know, gassing me up with compliments and oh, we made millions of dollars on this project, like how exciting, let's go to Nobu and celebrate, or what. Like, that's not really love, you know? So love is like, it's like making, it's like you get the energy to make like a brick house out of mud and like bake the mud and like stack the bricks, and because it's like, yeah, like I love this person, you know, like it's more like that. So for her, I would steer clear of like dating actors or directors. So I think I'm gonna wrap up the reading. In general, like I like her energy, but she really is like surrounded by wolves, like, and you know, and just try to maintain that good energy and make some stability for yourself, like create your own theater, like marry someone who's solid and who isn't in the industry necessarily, and have a great life. Okay, all right, I hope you guys enjoyed the reading. If you want to suggest a topic, that'd be great. If you want to donate to my channel, like even $1, that would be cool too, because like to date there have been no donations, but like if it would be more inspiring to like get like a proper microphone or like tripod or something, if donations would go towards like making the channel more like awesome and stuff. So yeah, I hope you have a good day and all the best.